Welcome to the AGOORA. I'm Simon, working as a product manager at the AGOORA team. Now that you have signed in for beta testing experience, we would like to give you a short overview of our product AGOORA and how it solves the black box problems of Kafka. When we start AGOORA, we're asked to log in. Here we use KeyCloak as a backend, which serves for the identity and access management. There we can also integrate social platform logins and enterprise identity providers. For now, I'll use this demo account, but for your testing or for your subscription, you will get your own credentials to log in. When we log in, we see the catalog overview. In the catalog view, you can find the available data offers. Each one is represented with a title, an abstract, the data owner, and tags. By clicking on the catalog entry, you find more details about the item you've selected. On the right side and top, you can find filter options, where you can search for a term or for a tag. For grouping resources, we use the hierarchical structure of resource groups, which can also be used for filtering. On the right-hand side, you can find tools which are applicable in your current context. In the left bar, we have the data catalogs for data offers and data subscriptions. And on the bottom, you can see the user profile, some administrative options and the logout button. If you have any questions, we have put the feedback form on the bottom right, where you fill in and ask or report your issues.
If you want to learn more about the data offer, just click on a tile in the catalog and the detail view will open. So let's take a look at the celestial position of ISS data offer. This data offer provides a real-time feed of the celestial positions of the International Space Station. In this view, you can navigate from the general overview into very specific topics like data schema or data profile regarding this data offer. Additional information like tags, metrics, modification date or data owner is available directly underneath the navigation tabs. In this case, it's Julian who is taking care of this data offer. Each data offer can be individually supplemented with text or images using Markdown syntax, so that the purpose of the data offer is immediately clear to everyone in the company who is looking into details for a certain Kafka topic or any kind of data offer. Below the description, you see a list of data subscriptions, including those that are available in the transport but have not yet been claimed by an owner. For Kafka as a transport, like in this case, the data subscription is a consumer group, so it means the stream gets consumed by two consumer groups, whereas just one of those have actually an owner. In the data volume section, the amount of data produced from this data offer is shown. By hovering over the time series plot, each individual metric point gets visible. And last but not least, one of the most important and beloved features, the deep dive tools. AGOORA doesn't replicate functionality of other specialized, proven and existing tools in companies, like for ops monitoring purposes or process management. AGOORA just bridges the gap between those, so deep dive tools are an easy way to integrate AGOORA into your landscape of existing tools, services and components by providing links for a specific and context-related deep dive into the tool, such as in this case, Jira, Wiki, Kafka Manager or Prometheus. So if you want to know more about the details of this data offer, but on the Kafka level for example, just click on the Kafka Manager deep dive tool link and jump into Kafka Manager, directly to the Kafka topic details related to the position of the ISS data offer.
An easy way to serialize data is to use JSON. There is actually good chances that you are using that. So in this view, in the schema view, you can see the inferred schema of your data. so you can easily see what's inside your stream. So in this example, this schema was inferred a few minutes ago with a few samples. You have a fancy view here, but you can also display the raw JSON schema if you need to. If you are using a schema registry, like we do in this case, we can see that we have the AGOORA schema from the registry, but we also have the inferred schema as before. So this means you can compare the two. For example, in this case, the message is not required, but it was present in all the samples. So the profiler will think that this field is mandatory.
So let's talk about the profile. The profile is this really cool functionality offered by our product that allows you to get insight on data within your Kafka cluster. It runs at a scheduled time and looks for valid samples within each topic. Presently, we support AGOORA and the JSON format. In order to visualize your profile, simply select your data offer and click on the Profile tab. You can then see when the profile was generated, as well as how many samples it used. Looking down, you can see many statistical data on each field that was recognized. Further down, you can also see a subset of the data samples that it used to profile. So what happens if there is no data flowing through your Kafka topic? Well, as you can see, you will get a note mentioning just that. And what if there is data flowing through your Kafka topic, but it is not in a valid format? Well, you can see here, there will be a warning message saying exactly that. There is a blacklisting functionality which tells you when the profiling will actually start again. You may configure the profile parameters such as how often it runs, the number of data samples, and the blacklisting parameters within your application properties file of the Kafka profile.
AGOORA consists of two main blocks. One is the SaaS part running in our cloud, and the second part consists of agents running next to your Kafka. There are three types of agents that can run. The state agent, which collects the metadata from your Kafka cluster, the so-called actual state. The optional profiler agent, which inspects the data in the streams and generates statistics and insights into the data. And the also optional integration agent, which could react on changes within AGOORA. But since this would be very specific, it's more a topic of a dedicated video. The state agent is also responsible for setting up the links of the deep dive tools into your tool ecosystem. In AGOORA, we use some generic technology agnostic terms in order to have a unified representation of available data and consumption over multiple technologies. Therefore, we use the term data offer for data which is available for consumption, or data subscription as a representation for the actual consumption. In the meta model, we can find all the layers, and we can map that to Kafka, for example. On a transport layer, you would have your Kafka cluster. On an agent layer, you would have an agent which works with Kafka, the Kafka agent, which would produce the data offer states. And then when a user decides that this state is actually something he want to show and present to others, he would wrap this state into a data offer, add descriptions, add abstracts, assign ownership, and then present it in AGOORA to other users.
So you're probably wondering how you can get your data from your local Kafka cluster into AGOORA. It's actually pretty simple. we have this concept called agents. An agent is a tool that runs on your environment. We have two of those. The one is the STM Kafka agent and the other is the profiler. The agent will extract data like the topic names and the offsets and also the consumer groups so that we can display the data offer states and data subscription states in AGOORA. The profiler, as you already know, creates the profiles and also the schemas. So the profiler will actually look into the data and this agent just looks at the metadata. So you can optionally opt out and just not run the profiler, and then you will not have a profile if you are scared of sending your data from your Kafka cluster into the cloud. To start your local environment or your beta testing, we will provide you with an env file and credentials to log into AGOORA. So with this env file, as you see it here, you will have an account and some tokens, and you can just change the STM Kafka Bootstrap servers env variable. You can just do that here. Then you'll take this Docker Compose that we provide, and it will automatically start the Kafka agent, the Kafka profiler, and also the profiler service, which is needed in the profiler. With this, you will automatically be connected to the demo STM Spout.io, and AGOORA will receive your data. Now, to show you that it's actually easy and actually works, I've got my local environment here. So I have this env file, which is similar to the one that you would receive, the credentials and the Docker Compose. And because I don't really have a Kafka cluster that I want to connect, I just added the Kafka in this Docker Compose. So I will have an easy way to run Kafka locally. Now everything that I need to do is execute the command Docker Compose up, and in a few seconds everything will be started. As you already see a bit, it starts the Kafka, which you maybe not need, but also the Kafka agent and the Kafka profiler. They will now be connected to AGOORA and send the data of your local Kafka or your Kafka cluster that you connected to AGOORA, and you will be able to create the data offers and the data subscriptions out of the data offer states and subscription states that were created. I hope this helps, and I hope you can enjoy using AGOORA.
What you just saw here is not just about creating transparency for your many Kafka black boxes. It's about what results from this transparency, expectations and collaboration. Let me give you an example. What would you do today if you wanted to change the data format of a stream that is consumed by one or even multiple productive applications? What you would try to do probably is try to identify all consumers, search for each responsible person behind these consumers, get in contact with all of them and every one of them and talk to them in order to understand the expectations they have and in order to evolve the schema without inflicting too much damage. In essence, what you would do is collaborating with them based on transparency of data, people and expectations. This is just one example of many possible examples. I'm sure you have many other ideas of how we could do that. For us, this process of interaction based on transparency of data and people and expectations is exactly where many other people, and you probably included, are losing time and nerves. And this is also why this is, for us, the next logical step for AGOORA, and exactly the reason why we need your help in this beta program.
So, as part of the AGOORA community, you can help us free data. Let's make it visible and alive together.